I am the sun and the air.
All right, this is a Words of the Witches special. And we're going to be talking about Charmed the musical, what it was like to make it, some behind the scenes stuff. Some cast is here. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Who wants? Why don't you introduce yourself one by one so we know who's all here? We'll start with Brianna.
Hi, I'm Brianna Dorman. I played the part of Grams.
Yay! All right, Galen.
I'm Galen Roberts, and I played the part of Coop.
Woohoo! All right, and Sophia.
Hi, I'm Sophia Tarantelli, and I played the part of Paige.
Yay! And I'm Kevin, your resident Charmed resource. I wrote the musical script and the host of this podcast. Yay!
And I am Aaron Robertson, and I was the composer for this musical. It's very fun.
Yay!
And other bit parts throughout the
Love it.
So I guess the first question I want to propose is, what were your thoughts when you saw the audition notices, and like what decided to make you audition?
Well, for me personally, Charmed was a show that I used to watch with my dad when I was younger. So I just was like, hey, why not? It should be easy because it's online, and I've been missing being in musicals personally. So
Yeah, cool.
yeah.
I was so nervous. Because I've never done anything like that before, and you know how I love Charmed. So I was like, I need to be a part of it, and then I was like, I don't know if I actually can, because am I going to be able to do what I need to do? But I knew I needed to be a part of it in some capacity if I could be allowed to.
I know you were excited, and then you got nervous, and you said maybe not, and then you were like one of the latest people to audition. But you and I have collaborated before, and we've known each other before, so yeah. And Sophia, you're brand new to me, so I was very excited to have you audition.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, similar to Brianna, Charmed was a show that I watched with my parents growing up. Like Charmed and Buffy the Vampire Slayer were two shows that I grew up on. And at the time, right before I saw like the audition come out for this, I had tried out for a musical at the college that I go to and hadn't gotten in, and I was like, you know what, this will be really fun to do. So I auditioned and I got it, and yeah.
Cool. Yeah, people have really enjoyed what all of you have brought, which is really cool. I've been getting lots of comments and love the songs. They love the scripts, and so yeah, it's cool. What was it like? What was the process like with our? Because I know it was a little. I mean, I felt like I organized it pretty well, but was it easy for you to navigate? Yeah,
Definitely.
For me, it definitely would.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know
I tried to
sometimes
be
I
on it.
overthink. There's like some lag on my end, I think.
Oh, the leg. That's okay.
Yeah.
We got you. We got you. So what was there any challenges you had with playing the part, or do you think you got it right away?
For me, I was more familiar with the sisters, so I had to look more into Graham's part, but that made it more fun to kind of discover what the character is like. And then I found that her and I actually have some similarities. I unfortunately didn't have a great marriage, my first marriage. And so when she was saying in her song, being all sassy, being like, oh, they weren't good enough, I was like, so I could connect with that sassiness there. So. Yeah.
I feel like I did okay. I was very
Yeah.
nervous because one of the things for Coop was me speaking like a little deeper, and I'm not used to doing that. Even though I do impressions, sometimes I don't do like deeper. I just tend to either go higher than my natural speaking voice or just go in my natural speaking voice. And
Right.
that was a challenge. That was definitely interesting, but it was fun to try.
Yeah. Nice.
It was definitely. I have not read all of the comics yet, um, so like I read more of it as the rehearsal process and everything went on. But I think learning more about what happens to Paige's character after the TV show was something that, um, yeah, definitely changed how I saw the character as the rehearsal process went on. Um, yeah, I think besides that, like I mean, the only main struggle that I had with like learning the character and everything was trying to not focus too much on like it has to be exactly like what
Right.
she sounds like, because that's not
Right.
going to happen. Like trying to
Right.
make the character a bit my own,
Wonderful.
but ended up having a fun time with it. So
Yeah, we really enjoyed having you. So cool. Were there any questions about plot or music that you didn't understand, even like listening through? Wasn't sure if everything came across or anything that you really enjoy about the process of this, that story.
I love the fact that the characters that typically didn't get a chance to interact got a chance to interact. So the fact that we do see Henry and Coop being friends and getting a chance to talk and be brothers-in-law was very, very fun to me.
Cool. Yeah, it's funny. We had a joke about like reading the comics, how like they're secret lovers. It's fine.
There were definitely some moments I was like, oh, I was like, does he remember he's
Yeah.
supposed to be married to Paige? What's happening? But I let it go. I let it go.
Yeah.
I was like, why is Henry being so friendly? Henry is being very, very friendly. My God.
Yeah. It's like, oh, but you're so pretty. Like, yeah.
I think one of my favorite moments was that the Elders Are Dicks song, just because
Nice.
it's like finally saying what is like there
Yeah.
in the show.
Like we're all thinking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I've gotten a lot of feedback for that one. A lot of people, I
Yeah.
think, because it takes them by surprise. Like, wait, what did you just say? What I think she said? Oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
Mhm.
Yeah, so kudos to Aaron for that. I
Oh,
mean, yeah, because we came up with the idea back in the podcast, but you did write a really great song.
Yeah, originally the song sounded completely different, and after like taking a look at the scene and thinking about because what I would often do for the process of the plot is ask Kevin specifically what charmed moments are we basing this off of? Like, is there a scene that's guiding this song? And so then I would look at the scene and then kind of incorporate
Yeah.
it, or just the idea of the scene and incorporated it into the song, depending on the context and what was needed at the time. And so, yeah, for the Elders Are Dicks, it made me rethink of what to do, and I'm so glad that you did, because I think it came off much better in this final version, because I was trying to emulate kind of like a song that could appear in like Book of Mormon or Avenue Q, that kind of a comedic number. So yeah, I'm glad
Yeah,
it came off well.
it reminded me very much of like the Xander Anya song. in Buffy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
the vibe I was getting. But like even for like Graham's song, we had a spot where it took place in Just Harried, but we were incorporating things from
Mhm.
Witchstock and Lost and Bound and things like that. So we had all those little pieces in there.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm. Like for me, when I wrote this, I wanted to kind of make the characters better, or like acknowledge things that reasons why they were like maybe selfish, or like Phoebe. I wanted her things to be explained. Like, why was she so full of herself all the time? What she lost some of the stuff she had in early seasons, and I believe she does have that block because when Prue died, she distracted herself with cleaning, or when Miles dies, she's like, I'm gonna dance around and pretend it doesn't exist, and and like even with the block on love that we brought that up with Coop. I think that's something that she always did, and it's nice to like put that out there as like our canon.
Were there any moments that surprised you in terms of hearing / seeing the finished musical or video of everything?
So it's like that surprised me.
Yeah. Or something that was like, oh wow, that came out differently than I thought, or like, oh wow, like, oh, we really did something with this scene. And this could go to a cast as well. Yeah, anybody can.
I think the final product for Paige's Epiphany was really, I loved how it turned out. And I think especially with the songs where it's like duets or multiple people, when you record it, you're only hearing yourself. So I think hearing all of those songs where I was singing with other people and hearing all the voices put together was something that I really loved.
It's so exciting when that happens. And like Paige's Epiphany is one of my favorite songs. I think it's probably the more universal. Paige's story is probably the more universal problem because we all have moments of highs and lows and how we navigate that. And we had your Henry singing was an Italian guy. He did really great, and you both blended really well. And even your cries, we did that separately, and we put them in there, and like so all these little pieces. So cool.
Yeah, for me, a lot of it was like the big ensemble things because that's where I had to put the most amount of stuff into. So things like "This Isn't Goodbye" and the opening numbers for
How Soon Is Now?
Yeah, How Soon Is Now. Just hearing everybody's voices coming together and figuring out like what to blend, what to add, and what to tweak, and what to like move this person over here. It was a lot of fun being able to do that. And Brianna was actually a really big inspiration for how I ended up handling This Isn't Goodbye towards the end, because I was so enraptured with your vocal performance for that. That it was like, okay, cool.
Thank you.
yeah. It was so, I was like, okay, cool. Now we can build something off of this.
Yeah, it was definitely a key like track that we used to like kind of base things on, so thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. I have to harmonize soprano all the time, so anytime you need a soprano.
Let's see. What else do we have to say? What's your favorite song?
I'm so sorry. I really hate to leave, but I have to get, my internet is like really cutting out bad and I cannot really understand what's being said. So I'm just gonna go. But I'm so glad I got a chance to stop by and show a little.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. Anything that you want to
Thank
say before you leave?
Yeah.
About anything?
I am just very happy and proud that I was able to be a part of this. And I cannot wait to see what comes next. I hope, whether I'm a part of it or not, I'm just so happy to see that you went out of your comfort zone, and I can't wait to see where you go from here. So,
well, thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, thanks for.
I'm proud of you both.
Yeah.
I'm proud of both. I'm proud of both.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, my internet too. Something in the air today.
Yeah, I guess so.
Bye. All right. So, I mean, obviously, Grams, you have that one beautiful song, but is it your favorite song? What is your favorite song?
My favorite song, actually, I haven't heard the opening song before, and my husband actually pointed out that it was already a song. I was like, oh, I've never heard this before. And so I just kind of sung what I thought my part would sound like. So I ended up enjoying that song the most. Yeah.
The How Soon Is Now song or the
Mm-hmm.
that one? Or...
Yep. Yep.
So did you watch Charmed streaming the first time you watched it?
Yes. Yep.
That's why. Because in the original aired, that was the theme song of Charmed.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Mhm. So yeah, that's when I'm like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Sophia, what's your favorite song?
I think it's honestly a little bit of a hard question, but I think that my favorite song has to either be The Elders Are Dicks, just because like I said earlier, it's such a fun song.
Yeah.
Either that or Turn the Page on Me, just because
yeah.
Oh,
like it was I had such a fun time recording it, and I love the finished product. So
Yeah, it's super beautiful.
mhm.
See, mine, I mean, I love them all because they're, and so, but my favorite song changes quite a bit. I still think Angel's Wings is like the radio hit of the musical. Joshua did an amazing job singing that. But even before he sang it, when you had your demo, I'm like, this is a jam. Oh my God. So I always
Yeah.
like that one a lot.
Yeah.
And This Isn't Goodbye, I really love too. Well, because I had a key part in the lyrics for that song, which was nice. And then just having the whole ensemble come in and hearing the harmonies, it's just like, oh. So I really like that one a lot too. But
yeah.
they're all my favorites. It's hard.
Ooh. My favorite song to play was No You Do It, because I played a lot with time signatures in that one. That was the most like one of the most like musically challenging, because it's not like a straightforward thing that you can kind of like sing along to in 4/4. So I really enjoyed doing that. But I think song wise, I'd have to say I Wish That You Were Here. It was the song that was the hardest for me to write in a lot of ways, both like emotionally, but also just logistically, because I wanted to make sure that it hit the correct emotional tone, not just for the sisters, but also for the musical as a whole. And it's definitely a song that I see myself listening to even years from now out of context, just because it's a very meaningful song in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and when our warlock came in, I remember he sent in Ian. He sent in a demo that I thought was more frantic than it needed to be, so I had him redo it, and then it was perfect after that. And he was like, "Thank you for making me redo it," because he's like, "Yeah, you can delete the other one and never I forget it ever existed." I'm like, no, because it wasn't bad. It just wasn't the what because Gavin the warlock is very eerie. He's very kind of monotone. He's very kind of like. So I like to see that transition start from like more calm and collected, and then going, oh, like crazy. So,
Yeah.
I know I had certain rules of the show that, like because once the music shifted to the sisters and they were singing in real time, I hope they came across, but like Henry's and Coop's memories that were there, that was just the memory singing. Did that come across for you? Was it that so it was them just singing directly? Good. Because like I feel like people would be questioning like, oh, how are they singing to each other? So that's good. What else?
What was was there a character that you gained, not including your own, but was there a character that you gained new insights on from the musical experience?
For me, I liked Leo's admission of guilt. because that's something we talked about when we covered the 1,000 Deaths comics with Erica Schultz. I think that really explains a lot of his arc through the series too. Galen, he just left, but he thinks Leo is the worst character on Charmed. He hates Leo. But
I saw that.
but I think just having this feeling of failure and knowing that he wasn't doing his best, or that his best wasn't good enough, and having those thoughts behind it, I think gives him some dimension, and I really like that. And I think it gives parallels to Sam, actually, because Sam felt the same way after he lost Patty. So that's really fun for me to put in there.
I think for me it was definitely like the relationship between all of the sisters, like especially like Piper, Phoebe, and Paige with Prue.
Yeah.
I just in general, that kind of like how they so badly want this connection with each other, but so much has happened that it's difficult, like physically and emotionally, to keep that connection, but they're able to find that in the end because they are family and they do love each other.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I thought the musical did a great job of describing the sisters' relationships, and it kind of went more into depth with who they are as a person more. That's the thing about music, you can kind of bring out more emotion that way, and
Yeah, cool. Because at this point in the comics, the reason why they were being in such pain when they talked to Prue was because Prue became this whole. She actually was the Nexus and was kind of slowly draining the powers from her sisters and slowly killing them, and no one knew it. So at this point, it was a tricky thing. And that's one of the reasons too, because everyone else got to process their emotions in the spell, whereas Prue never really got to process them, and that's why what happens going in the rest of season 10, why she becomes this big bad, and why these emotions are coming to the surface now, because she never really got to process that here. Yeah, which is nice and sad, but
This was such a big project in terms of everybody being in different places.
Yeah.
So how did you, for all of your characters, kind of bring a sense of connectivity, even if you weren't in the same place as the people you were doing scenes or songs with?
I think, at least for me, it was like rereading the script over and over to get like a stronger connection of like the relationship between the characters, and also like although when we were recording, it was like very short sessions, we were still like talking in between scenes and getting to know the people that we were working with a little bit, so that definitely helped.
Yeah, because you weren't there for any of their dialogue sessions.
No.
So they went by really quick because we just had to kind of hit our marks, and we did them twice, which was nice. So we had options, but and people came and go. Sometimes they were there, sometimes they weren't there, and we had to adapt. But they were fun sessions. They worked out.
Yeah, similar to you, Sophia, I read the script just to get a feel of the whole story that the musical was going over. I only got to meet a few of you guys, like Coop, for example, because my daughter was PJ.
Yeah.
So I got to see him. And I thought that he did really well being, like you all did really well being patient with her, and then my other kids screaming in the background.
She is so adorable. We love her. And I got to tell you, because we had our little watch party with the local cast that was here. And when she came on, I was like, like, who is that? She's so adorable. It was great.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank her for us too, because she did a wonderful job.
I will.
Yeah. I just think I wanted to say anything else I wanted to say.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many aspects of the musical that are like hard to think about, because like you did it and then it's like, wait, what
I know, what did I all do?
Yeah,
And,
how to explain it?
It took me about a year to write. I was writing a lot of this while I was at work, actually, like on the downtime. I mean, it's slow. Let's write some stuff.
Mhm.
And it kind of like when I started writing, I didn't really have a plan of how it was going to go. It was like, what's next? Okay, what's next? And I kind of knew who the characters were in my brain, so I knew what they sounded like. I knew how they would respond to the situations, but I really made it up as I went along. And like, okay, now this will happen. Oh, okay, now what does that do? I know my initial plan was actually have Chris go with Leo in the first portal, but then I realized it's like Chris isn't going to carry that Book of Shadows up the stairs, the little thing. So I had to adapt that whole thing. Like,
Oh,
this is
yeah,
changing.
yeah.
So it really was telling me what it needed to be as it went along, which is cool.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the whole
What was the biggest challenge for you to write? The biggest song for you to write?
the biggest challenge for me to write?
Probably was it I Wish Yet You Were Here?
Yeah,
That
I
was the
mean, I
longest.
wish that you were here. Took a while to do. I mean, yeah, there were things where I would like. Some songs were like very easy to write, and then others was like I have no idea of where to go with this. And so, what often would happen would be, I think it originally started out as me just creating songs of what was
We talked about
in the
that.
script,
Yeah.
and then there were, for instance, there was a song I wrote called "Reasons to Refuse,"
Right.
because I didn't know the mechanic of how they were ending up in the musical, so I just was like putting in
Your own
lyrics for like whatever demon of the week got somebody to do something for something to trigger the.
He was going
spell
the
to happen.
Buffy style, so he kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, so a demon's gonna send them through the musical, and
Yeah.
I didn't write that.
No.
So,
No. Yeah. And then once those songs were made, I kind of then some songs were taken out, and Crossroads of a God, which originally was called Let Them Burn, Let Them Flood, was a demo song that I just made for the sake of it, because like, writing a musical, here's a song for Mercendia. It's based off of Hunchback, but it ended up being incorporated into the story too. And then as you would send me scenes, I would just kind of make the songs based off of them. And then I think it got to the point where you had an idea of what you wanted to do for Act 1 versus Act 2.
Right.
Where once the story took place, then probably the latter half of songs were written of like, okay, I know where I want to take the story. Here's probably the moment that I want them to go into, make a song based off of that. And when you gave titles, those were often very helpful too, because then it was like
the
okay, I'm trying,
references? Or the titles of the songs.
Titles of the song, because
yeah.
they help me get like what is the point of like what we're trying to bring across and what they're processing. And it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
To me. I think a lot of part was just like playing it and
Feeling it out.
Yeah, in real time, and making sure that like it sounded cool, because like I'd always want to like change something to make it sound better. Yeah.
What people might not know is Mercendius was actually a character that I created way before this musical was even a thing. I was playing like a Pathfinder, Dungeons and Dragons game, and I made him as my alter ego for that. And I'm like, well, I even had a page in my Book of Shadows made for it by my friend, and I'm like, he's already in there. Might as well make it him the guy. So, and then I really got to flesh his character out, which was cool in this. And people responded well to him. I was surprised. I'm like, he's just the guy. He's not a charming character. People aren't going to respond to him, but they really liked him. So that was bad.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
I know, like, were you happy with the way that your character ended in? Were you happy with their epiphanies or their realizations? Would you have liked to see different things explored with them?
Yeah.
Or were there any characters in the musical that you would like that you wish we put in here? Because I would have loved to do like a Cole Sear song. Someone asked for that. I'm like, having the Sear in here.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many, but I was getting too long. I couldn't keep all these.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you might just have to make a second musical.
Charmed
Then.
musical too. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I think Sing More from Cole would have been interesting, but I also love how it was shown in the musical. And Paige's Epiphany, I love just how, I mean, throughout all the series, we just kind of know that she has this trauma in the back of her brain. And in this moment, she's able to finally deal with that in a way that I think is really beautiful. So
Well, thank you. Yeah, exactly. Because we in the show we know that she chose to be sober. We don't know what the reasons were, and so we got to two of her. Both Turn the Page and Me and the start of Page's Epiphany were not scenes from the show at all. They're stuff we made up, and so I think that's cool that we got to like even create our own like backstories in a way. In my mind, Turn the Page and Me took place in season 9 comics when Prue first showed back up. So she's kind of Paige's feeling like, oh, Prue's back, they don't need me anymore. And then Paige's Epiphany starts in college, and we start to learn the reasons why she stopped drinking. And yeah, it's so beautiful. I love that song so much. And Cole, yeah, I think it's because at this point in the show, he's fully dead. Like his soul has been eradicated. But he had a kind of a redemption arc in the comics, which was nice. But I think I didn't even have Patty involved. We just talked about her. I think having these people like kind of talked about or kind of floating, but not really being there, really emphasizes that the finality of death and what you have to do and cope with that. And so that I think it was good that we kind of didn't push them too far.
I guess an aspect that was really cool to see for those of you who maybe only heard like the podcast was the video version on YouTube. If you got to watch it, like what was your reaction to seeing the video along with the music? And what was
I
yeah.
thought
Oh, you're
sorry.
good.
I thought it was awesome. I didn't expect all the graphics. So I was actually showing it to my sister-in-law, and I got to enjoy seeing all of the videos with it as well. And I didn't expect, for my song to have a little music video with it, so that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was pretty much an audio medium, but I'm like, I have some time. I'm just gonna do these. But I was really drawn down to the wire. I was like editing these things like right before like had to be up. I'm like, I have to finish this. Oh my gosh! So I started to get lazy at the end, but it was a lot of fun. And
You did good with it.
thank you. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's just a little bonus, but I think adding the visual element, I think helps, especially because I have friends that have never seen Charmed, but they wanted to support the musical.
Mhm.
So having those video elements helps them give them context, which is good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's cool to see like where these scenes took place. Like these are things that happened, and we get to see those scenes kind of play out again in a little bit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I have not had a chance to watch all of the visual part, so that's something that will definitely be very interesting after listening to all of it audibly.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Have a watch party with your family. That'd be fun.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, because we did this remotely, is there anybody that you would have loved to like read with or meet that from the cast that you didn't really get a chance to?
I mean, Henry's in Italy, so that would have been. I think it would have been more interesting to get to record or work with them in person. So
Yeah. Oh, I think he told me he's in London now, but he is Italian. He's from Italy and he's in London now. He's in some kind of show or tour that he's doing.
Yeah.
But also our adult Wyatt, he's in Italy. He's Italian as well. So so you get to sing with all the Italians.
yeah,
But the spoken Henry's here though.
Spoken Henry, we have
The
Henry was split.
Yeah.
And Brianna, you met our speaking voice for Henry because he was in the scene with Coop and yeah. So Matt, he's really cool. He's really nice.
Oh yeah, Matt's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that was fun.
I feel bad that nobody got to like really work with our Leo.
Yeah, that's true. Because I would have said are people from overseas, Leo White, everybody over there. I would love to have been able to
Mhm.
interact in real time with it, because I mean they did excellent work over there.
Because our Leo is a British person, and he put on a great American accent. You couldn't even tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And beautiful singer, and we did like one session where we recorded everything he did in the script in one session because it was so hard to get the timing right.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun doing that, and it was just me and him, and I feel bad that no one else got to like talk with him or see him. But he's been very supportive and sharing, and
Oh
yeah. So he has a podcast about Erie, Indiana. I found out too, or he had one. It's over now, but about Erie, Indiana.
Oh.
So crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah, and like I wish because the sisters, we had some really great dialogue moments with the sisters, but 3 of them were local, and then we had you. It was like, come on, we gotta get Sophia over here, get her in the fold.
Yeah.
But like when we recorded that fight scene right before the end, I was so happy. It's like, oh, we're all doing this together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have been awesome to have had all the sisters record together in real life, but sadly I live in New York, so
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we love New York, even though I've barely been there. My mom is from Long Island. Did I ever tell you this?
Oh, you've not.
My mom, she grew up in Brentwood, which I heard is not a very great neighborhood anymore. But when she was growing up in the '60s, it was well loved. So, and so yeah, so that side of the family is Italian, from New York, and yeah, they all kind of moved out since then. But yeah, it's neat. They all have the accent still.
Yeah. And I mostly grew up in Buffalo, but I did live in Washington Heights and then North Riverdale for a little bit a few years ago. Yeah.
I'm actually in Buffalo right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No way.
Because my parents and my family live in Buffalo, and I'm here over the summer. So
Oh, cool.
always great to meet another Buffalonian.
I know. Yeah. I go back and sometimes see my family over there as well. So yeah, Western New York. Woo.
So, how about just general charm questions? What's your favorite episode of the show?
Oh,
That's
So hard.
a hard question, man.
I mean, I don't know if I know
I
mine.
don't know how to
Yeah.
answer that one.
But I've had lots of time to think about it.
yeah.
Yours is the same as mine, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morality bites.
Yep. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so
My
good.
favorite season is 3. My favorite episode is Morality Bites.
Mhm.
Yeah. I just think it represents the show. What
Oh,
the show
yeah.
is.
It's a very
You know,
well-rounded season in a lot of ways. But yeah, I'd love to hear everybody's favorite things.
or some of your favorites. We can't pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, some of my favorite episodes were ones that were just fun to watch. Like, the title of the episode is slipping my mind, but like the episode with mermaids, where
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it's just
Two-parter.
fun to
Oh, yeah.
watch. And growing up, I was obsessed with mermaids. So I think just because of that, that was one of my favorite episodes. As well as, I'm so bad with episode titles, but
That's okay. I'm just a
the-
crazy nut who knows them all.
the episode where it kind of follows like Phoebe and Cole's ties, and they go into the past in this weird thing. Um,
Oh, didn't we use that in the musical? I feel like
Well,
we
there's
did. Yeah.
is it the Generation Hex with Coop where they goes over her past stuff. You said with Cole.
yeah,
I'm trying to think which one they go to her past. There's the one. Is it the one where the past Phoebe comes like the young girl Phoebe comes?
I think it's more like it's like a it's not it's like a different incarnation of Phoebe. I think like it's a family member in the past. I'm wording this so bad.
Not Phoebe. Well, Phoebe and a different guy, but the 20s episode.
Oh, Part of My Past.
Yeah.
That one.
I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah, P. Russell.
Yeah, Pearl Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anton. Oh, that guy died.
Oh.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that 70s episode.
Yeah.
And also the morality bites as well. But I liked in that 70s episode because you get to see their mother
Mhm.
and the exchange that she had to give the girls powers away to protect them. And just, I liked how it kind of showed her character more. And
Yeah. That's a classic that people fan favorite.
Mhm.
It's so good. Like a lot of the
Yeah.
time travel ones are so good.
yeah.
They do them. I mean, maybe they don't make sense logistically, but they're always really well written, like emotional episodes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Were there any other curiosities people had about this Which Your Heart Makes Charm musical project?
What were you thinking when the project came about? Were you thinking what the story and what it might be? Did you think it was going to be like a retelling of the series, or were you surprised with what it was?
I was a bit. My first thought when I saw it was that it was going to be like a musical about the show, not like a
Mhm.
musical episode that would have been that's like
Yeah.
in a certain point in the series. So I think how like the way that it was done instead was really interesting, because it does still give like an opportunity for if somebody wanted to make a Charmed musical about overall Charmed for that to happen.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Right. Because I feel like for some reason, if they decide to go like something official, like a stage, like Broadway, that can still happen, and we won't infringe on that at all. It's great.
Yeah.
What about you, Brianna? Were you surprised by the?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be made like it was, like she said, like an episode in the show. I was expecting it to just kind of be a few songs about the characters or maybe based off one episode or something. I wasn't sure what it was going to be. So it all turned out to be really fun, and I liked how it turned out.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like I don't know if fans will be disappointed with what it ended up, because their expectations would be different.
Yeah.
But I think if they give it a chance, will end up liking it. But I think a lot of people might be like, "Oh, I don't know, that's not what I thought."
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did this turn out the way you thought it was going to? From like seeing from the inception in your mind to what it is currently?
I mean, yes and no. Like I think I always knew that I wanted it to be that the passion for the show would be shown. Like because I have such a heart for it, such a love for it. I didn't want to betray the fans that way. I wanted to, at least, because I was making it for people like me, so I wanted them to know. So I was hoping that it would turn out. My biggest fear was that it wouldn't be funny enough, or that I would make some egregious mistake, or
yeah.
or they wouldn't like what I do with the characters, because I'm like, this is how I feel like they should be, but I don't know if everyone else agrees with that, So that was my biggest fear, but I was really happy. I knew how we wanted to end. I knew I wanted to talk about, because that's the end, how season 10 ends, with Prue closing the door and she's with Andy, and it's a really nice moment. We expanded on that in the episode. We added more dialogue.
Yeah.
but I like this because Phoebe was not really present in the final battle with Prue, because Paige was there, and then Piper was like stabbed her and was the one that killed her again. But because Prue was like, "You need to do this to save yourselves," and it was a very emotional moment, and I felt bad that Phoebe was never in there. So this was giving Phoebe a chance to like be a part of that and show that she still loves Prue, that she grieved her too, just in different ways, and maybe she didn't grieve as heavy about it because she had this block. So there's all this going on, and I like that she thinks it's from the past when Prue died the first time, when really it's the future. This is what she's going to end up being, and I like that too because Prue now knows that it's her future, and this is what causes her to fight even harder for the rest of season 10. Why she's like, "Oh no, I'm not dying again. I'm going to go crazy, and make sure this doesn't happen." So there's all these little connections that are strewn about if you look for them. But yeah. But it turned out better than I thought. And every time you sent me a song, like we came up with the concept, you sent me a song, I was like, oh, I'm crying. It's beautiful. I love it. Oh, but change this word.
Yeah. Was there what was like a song that what was the experience like hearing all of the songs for the first time, or hearing what they ended up sounding like?
Well, I remember every time you sent me a demo, I added it to my playlist and I played them at the gym.
Yeah.
And I was like, at first when I heard them, I was like, I had a lot of gas. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I love this. I remember the first time you sent me Paige's Epiphany, which sounded a little bit different. But I was like, oh my gosh, I'm crying. And then we tweaked some of the words a little bit, and we added the duet. It was different.
It was different.
Henry sang a lot less in the original.
Yeah.
But I figured, I think I liked him singing. I liked him being in there, and I liked having the back and forth. And what's cool about that song too is because it's the current Paige witnessing the memory, while the Paige in the memory is singing to a memory Paige. They're not necessarily singing to each other, but they are, through this weird kind of So that's really cool. And with Cole too, Phoebe is singing to Cole, but Cole can't hear her. She's singing to the memory. But it's inspiring things in them in that moment. I mean, that song too. I remember you sent me a very instrumental song. I was like, I kind of want it bare bones. And I think, how do you feel about that? Do you think it worked out?
Yeah. I was really, really inspired by the end of Pippin, where everything's kind of stripped away musically. So I wanted to kind of capture that kind of bare moment for Phoebe, that if she did sing from the heart, it would be the complete opposite of the amazing Phoebe.
Right.
The juxtaposition of this elaborate musical number versus this more acoustic thing. In a perfect world, I probably would have played a cajon. But just I used my hands on the table and it was like, all right, I'll just use it.
Yeah, but I love that bit too, because it's very reminiscent. That's her heartbeat. She's starting to get in it, and she's starting to feel the intensity. So I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. What else can we say? Was there any questions that you had about something that happened? Anything that you want to say about? It's hard to figure out.
Yeah.
Because I know there's so much that we did.
Yeah.
If you had to create a song for a character, what would that character be, and what would the song be called? I know this is because this was an activity we did. This is the activity that inspired the musical from the beginning.
That's true.
That's true. I came up with 5 songs, and my guest came up with 5 songs, and he heard the podcast episode, and that's what he created the demos for that, which is how this whole thing came to be. So just theorizing over here of songs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody I didn't do that I would love to.
Ooh.
I would love to have like get Melinda involved in something because I feel like Melinda's often the overlooked sibling.
Yeah. Actually, building off of that, I kind of think it would be interesting if Melinda, like something inspired by Morality Bites,
Mhm.
because there was this whole thing about like, oh, like, you know, like there was this alternate thing
Yeah.
of like, you know,
You know what? Melinda Warren singing a song would have been awesome.
oh yeah,
and having
true.
her like
Yeah.
like when she first got there to Future, and she'd be like, "Oh, it'd be very much like Jack Skellington. What's this?" Like it's just picture Melinda Warren doing something like that. That'd be hilarious.
Oh yeah, yeah, that'd be really cool.
So now I want to do that.
Yeah.
I think a fun idea, just because how much, like, the last song, like, I Wish That You Were Here, like, a song from their mom's perspective, I
Oh,
guess.
yeah.
Like, looking down on them,
Oh.
being very proud and being like,
Mhm.
I know you're scared, but I'm here for you, and I believe.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
That
yeah.
would be very interesting, because we don't really see that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I mean, because Patty was a weird character. Like she was kind of showing up, but she never really got to like. I like in Cheaper by the Coven when she got to talk with Victor about how they raised the girls.
Yeah.
I always thought that was really nice. So having her to expand on that about what it was like raising them as witches and when they were in danger, because Grams was the one that bound the powers, Patty didn't. But
Yeah.
they had the whole that 70s episode experience, and yeah, oh my gosh, it'd be amazing to hear.
Yeah.
And I love to hear like her as she was living versus her like now looking down.
Mhm.
Because too in the comics, she's like, "Go find Prue for me. We don't know what happened. She left us." And Prue's like, "Oh, I don't know." She's like, "I don't know if I can even face her right now because she left to them, and she probably feels embarrassed." And there's all that craziness going on. And Paige, she still never really got to like bond with her. She met her, they hugged, and then she came back down for Cheaper by the Coven, and like, "Oh, I love your hair." It's very much not real bonding, or like they act like Paige was there from the beginning when she really wasn't. So there's some stuff that she has to work through in that too. Mm. Yeah. Aha!
Oh, and there. Are you familiar with the musical Twisted?
Yes.
Yeah, so for the song Twisted, and Twisted is like Wicked except for
Jafar.
Aladdin. So
Yeah.
it's like from Jafar's perspective. There's a song Twisted where like shadows of other Disney villains come to tell Jafar about like their plights and why they ended up turning into villains. So I thought that would be interesting to take like villains from throughout the
Oh.
series and talking to like, I don't know, or just commiserating about like being defeated by the Charmed Ones, or you know, some kind of ensemble villain.
We could have a
song.
Shax Jim Morrison number.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
Oh my gosh, it'd be called The End.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think we did some good coverage. Thanks for joining us, you guys. I want to try to do another one where more people can come through, so we'll do another talk back, and that will be it. But this was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
even take in questions from that people
Yeah.
send in afterwards if they have other
Right,
questions.
and I do want to have someone who just listened. Like I think Legion wants to come on and talk about it.
Yeah.
People who just were fans and see what kind of questions they might have who listen. But yeah, tell people where they can follow you and find you.
Yeah, I am on YouTube, literally just as my name. I'm on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Soph, so like the first 4 letters of my name, SOPH Tortellini. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I also have a YouTube. I want to do more with it, but just Brianna Dorman. And then I have a TikTok. Clapper is a new one that I was using for the karaoke contest that I was in.
Yeah, Sophia was doing that too. Yeah, the karaoke knockout stuff. So you guys are doing some good stuff.
I do have a TikTok. It's the same username as my Instagram, Soph Tortellini. I was doing the karaoke knockout thing for a hot minute as well.
All right. Well, stay tuned. Season 3 is coming. We're gonna be starting the guidebooks of the Charmed. So
Whoa.
episode guides, the book of threes, things like that. But yeah, we're just gonna do a little bit more musical coverage before we get to that. So yeah, thanks for joining us, Spell Worders, and we will see you soon.
This isn't goodbye.